More than I need, what you want, girl, it's yours. Give me your feelings, I just can't ignore. 'Cause all I want is you, baby. Give me your time, all your love, I've been patient.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Russell the Fourth.
Hey everybody, it's me, Brandy.
And welcome to another exciting edition of the What They Never Told Us podcast. What's going on? We back. Big season 4 energy.
Not big season 4 energy.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing?
I'm good. All is well. It's Easter Sunday. You guys are probably hearing this on Tuesday morning, and probably you are. But for us recording right now, it's Easter. So I'm good and full. I'm trying to muster up the energy, kick myself in gear. How you doing?
I'm great. You said it's Easter, and it took me back to a question that you asked me today, because all of my Christian friends have said Happy Resurrection Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
They have not said Happy Easter. And I remember you asking me upstairs, what do people celebrate on today? You saw people with Hennessy and drinking and smoking and saying Happy Easter. And you're like, does it have another meaning? So I think Easter does, right? But Resurrection Sunday is something different. They just happen to fall on the Sunday.
Nah, they the same thing. They supposed to be the same thing. I think some people just take the opportunity, for people who don't operate in the church context. Mm-hmm. It's a day you get an Easter basket, you hunt for the eggs, your family comes over, you cook, so I don't think for everybody it means the same thing, but I think the holiday and what it's supposed to be is the same. So
do you think non-Christian people celebrate Easter?
Yeah, just like non-Christian people do Christmas.
So it's just it's like the bunny holiday. What is Easter if you celebrate it and it's not Resurrection Sunday?
I don't know. It's a day to get candy, I guess, do the Easter basket. Because some people just participate. They don't necessarily reference the meaning of it, like Christmas, like we just said. There's a lot of people who do the tree and the hot chocolate, and it's about just the season rather than the meaning for it. So
right. Okay. So Easter is just another one of them holidays.
Not for me, but for them.
Unless you're a Christian.
Yeah, for sure.
Then you're celebrating the resurrection.
For sure. For me in my mind, I'm like, yo, this is Resurrection Sunday. This when he got up. This is when you go to church. You know what I mean? You get the speeches and all that. But I got on Facebook, it said Happy Easter. He had the bottles. I was like, huh? Huh? Now what that got to do with him getting up?
Something was lost in translation.
Yeah, that's a lot of Hennessy, brother. You ain't gonna get up. You're gonna be down. Ain't nothing gonna be resurrected after you get done with that bottle, brother. So yeah.
All right. But we had a great date night this weekend.
We did.
My story on Facebook has been going off with people asking us where were we at, where did the food come from. The food gets all the attention on social media, and if I must say so myself, I took a great video of what you had to eat. Yeah, nah, yours was good, but you just were being real greedy and you didn't, get it done. You didn't take the video. I didn't. I was ready to eat them ribs, and it was like the video. I think I was about 3 bones of ribs in. Then I was like, oh, shoot. I should have took a video. It's too late now. I think I found one of my favorite date night spots. Oh, you think that's going to be it?
Well, just places like that. When we were in Columbus, Ohio, we saw a similar place. When we were in Nashville, there was a similar place. I like the spots where it's just a bunch of different food options. Mm-hmm. It ain't like commercial spots that you can get anywhere, right? But they're really good. There might be some live music playing. There's activities, but that was similar to what we experienced in Lansing at that spot, Lansing Shuffle, which was really dope. So if you're anywhere in the area of Lansing, highly recommend Lansing Shuffle. So dope. And the food, it was next level. It was so good. I had these crab wonton nachos.
Crab rangoon nachos, I think is what it was called.
Crab rangoon nachos. Mm-hmm. But what's the wonton come from? That was the nut. That's what they were made of.
Yes.
Oh my God. It was so good. It was so good. And I had these sweet chili fried wings. Yo, stop. Stop.
You know, they have one of those in Chicago too. We just completely missed it, like an open air market restaurant type place. So the next time we go back, we'll have to hit that up.
Yeah, nah, heavy on that. Heavy. I love those spots where you can just walk through like, ooh, oh, what's this? And I like them spots like where they freak out like they food.
Oh, well,
like
it's not just nachos.
it's
right?
fusion,
Yeah.
right? So it's like you can have, like, for instance, the spot where you ate, you know, it's Caribbean food, but you know, like when you go to Caribbean spots, when you go to Jamaican spots, you know, you're gonna get your rice and peas, you know, you're gonna get your oxtails, jerk chicken.
They got jerk barbecue.
So you're gonna do some jerk ribs, bro.
And brisket.
What?
And they had Caribbean street corn, which was like their take on Mexican street
Elote,
corn.
yeah. Oh my god,
It was really good. It was a dope spot.
You got some Caribbean mac and cheese? I'm trying to see what that be like. Really good.
It was spicy. It was spicy.
Highly recommend though. Highly recommend. It was so good.
Yeah, so it was a big date night weekend because our oldest son, actually had a date as well.
Ooh.
And it just dawned on me that like he's in an age or in a world now of dating where things are just different. Like before, when we were dating, way back when we were 18 and 19 years old, we had to like physically see you and see you in some type of circle and then ask you on a date, whether it be on the phone or in person. He met this person completely on Instagram and it freaked me out. So I had to sit down with him like, okay, do you really, like, have you ever seen her before? And he was like, I mean, I've seen her on Snapchat. And I was like, well, she could be a catfish. Like, how do you know that this person is real? Who do you know that has actually laid eyes on her?
Nah, don't lie. You was hating on him.
I was not hating.
You saw the picture. You saw she was mad pretty. And you was like, I don't know if you could pull her, son.
That is not true. I was saying this before.
That girl a little too pretty for you.
Listen, I was saying
she can't be real.
I was saying this before I saw the picture. And then when I saw the picture, I was like, oh, this is a catfish.
I was like, oh, yeah, nah.
Ain't no way.
Son, you might want to sit down. Let me break this to you softly, okay?
I said, oh, we need to have a talk.
She ain't real.
But she was real. He proved me wrong.
Yeah.
Have you ever catfished somebody?
Never. Catfished someone?
Yeah, like
never, ever in my life. Nah, I'm dope in real life. I don't nah, and let me stop, because there's some people who, and I don't know necessarily what the thought behind that is or kind of what the impulse behind wanting to create a persona to then build relationships behind. So I don't want to, dog that, but
it's wrong.
Oh, for sure it's wrong, but I don't want to be insensitive to kind of like where that comes from. So
have you ever been catfished?
I think I have.
Really?
Yeah, I never was proved because I never was stupid enough to meet him nowhere. Man, this is back when I was being a garden tool out in the world.
Spotting.
Yeah, well, not really. I just was open to whatever, was coming on my plate. And there was this girl who hit me up. Number one, she was just way too good looking to be messaging me out of nowhere. Oh my God, you so fine. Me? You talking to me? I don't got low self-esteem, but I'm aware.
Was this when you first lost weight or this was?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had just lost weight, and it was a little bit different because musically I was starting to do more stuff. So my social media was like, oh, I'm out here with this artist, and there was an artist I was working with named Alexis Branch from Atlanta. Mm-hmm. She has a big following. So it started with her like, oh my God, I love her. Okay, cool. So then when she started keeping me, I was like, okay, so maybe she just thinks I'm like him. I was on her social media. We was in the studio together last summer. She was like, oh, I'm about to be in with, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But then she was like, she was just laying it on way too thick, right?
She was wooing you.
She was just, but no, it's like, okay, like, I know me. I know. Most people have like a real heightened.
So sexy.
Most people got a real heightened sense of like, who they are, or they got a real low sense of who they are, so they'll believe what anybody wants to tell them.
Okay.
But they'll be so excited somebody's telling them things like, ooh, no, not me. Nah, I was aware. I was like, I'm not ugly, but oh, you so. And then it was like right away, let's hook up, and that's another thing. And then
was she around here?
She's from Detroit.
Okay.
Right? So this is when, so I'm looking at her story. She got tons of money. She's wearing all like designer, like she's around these like, yeah, I'm like, okay, so, I don't know. So then right away it's like, yo, I gotta hook up with you. I gotta link with you, right? So she was like, yeah. So then I'm starting to get the details, right? I'm playing with the idea. Maybe.
Well, it doesn't make it like less of a catfish if she was willing to meet you.
No, this is what it was.
Okay.
You gotta listen to the details. Where you live at? Oh, I stay on the east side. Oh, where? Detroit.
Maybe she was talking about like the outskirts of the east side of Detroit.
I didn't abandon shit right there. I kept messaging. I said, okay, so like, you know, you got roommates. I live with my brother and his friends. So
was
now
she
you
black?
Yeah, she was black.
Okay.
So now you set the scenario that I'm gonna come over. It's gonna be a bunch of dudes there
On the east
side of Detroit.
I done saw that movie way too many times.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? I'm good on you.
That was what pushed you away?
Absolutely. It just the main thing was she was way out of my league. She was way out of my league.
Maybe she had low self-esteem.
Maybe. She stayed on the wrong side of town. You know what I'm saying? And
1 + 1 + 1.
And there was another thing. There was something else that made me mad cautious. But yeah, anyways, like she was asking me, so like, yo, you got a car, like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, she was trying to.
And like, I don't know. I've never been in a situation where a girl
bag.
don't know you at all, don't know you from a hole in the wall, and right away you want to have sex. Nah. Dudes is just horny, and you knew that most guys are just gonna be like, oh, okay, where do you stay? Well, your brother's there and his 5 cousins. They're all on the stoop, you say? Nah, I'm good. Yeah, I gotta be messed up. So I don't know if I was being catfish. I highly feel like I was finna get robbed and probably wasn't not to be seen in a minute.
So how did you get out of it? You just stopped.
I just stopped responding. Yeah, absolutely. That was it.
I catfished my first baby daddy. Well, okay, like
No.
Well,
Let
wait
this
a
breathe.
minute.
Let this breathe. Woo. Hey, what did I tell you about dropping bombs on me
okay, wait.
on the episode?
But I need you to help me because it might not have been a catfish, right? Because like the picture was me, but everything else was a lie. So that's not really a catfish, right? That's just like.
Now this is a good
I
question
was
because
lying.
we're old heads. So
Right.
usually the catfish is the person who hides what they look like.
Absolutely.
But you were information catfishing.
Yeah.
Oh, I know this story.
You know what I'm saying? Like
This
it was
is Black,
just,
it's Black Planet.
yeah, it was just like it was me, but like nothing else was me. Like so, okay. So let me set up the scenario. Since you told your story, let me tell mine. Let me justify.
I got you.
Let me justify the catfish.
Go ahead,
Okay.
get off.
So I was just graduated from high school and about to move to Atlanta. And my girlfriend and I were going to go down there together. So we thought, okay, let's make a profile on Black Planet like we already live in Georgia so that we can meet more people in Georgia. So when we go down there, you know, we already got a crew set up, right?
What was your name on Black Planet?
See, because you know the story,
I don't
you
remember.
asking the embarrassing.
I don't remember. I'm just trying to understand.
You are a liar.
Who is it?
Sir, you're
Who was
lying. It was duh. D-A.
Oh, duh.
Duh. Because I can't say duh. It was duh. The real GA girls. So that was a little catfish right there. 'Cause
I love it.
it wasn't nothing real Georgia about us. Like,
All right, come on.
so this is what we did. We like, it wasn't Google back then. I don't know if it was Google. I think it was Yahoo, AOL, whatever.
We are old.
We searched everything we could about Atlanta, right? So if somebody was to question us, like, where do you live? Have you
Oh, I
ever
stay
been
off of-
here?
I'm off
You know what
Latonia.
I'm saying? We had the deets, right? To be
It's
able-
not Atlanta. It's just not Atlanta at all. Y'all wasn't even in the rural part of Georgia. Y'all in a whole nother state. That's crazy. I got it though. I feel you. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it. Okay.
Okay. Then, you know, so we had to, like, high school. What high school did you go
Mm-hmm.
to? Like, we had this whole ruse set up, right?
Detailed.
In comes the baby daddy, not the baby daddy at the time, but the potential baby daddy at
Okay.
this time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he talking to me real good. Come to find out, he didn't live in Georgia. He just was like catfishing each other.
So he was from Georgia, but he wasn't.
Yes.
Match made in hypocrisy. Match made in.
So, you know what I'm saying? We talking good. And he was like, this is how young and naive he was. He was like the first person to respond to the profile.
Okay.
And bam, he my baby daddy now. So, you know, I was just looking for
You really gotta put more time in there. Like, we talk for a little bit. You can't just be and bam.
well, it It wasn't really that. So like, I think I moved down there in like September, October, somewhere in there. And from the time we established the profile, we talked nonstop, just every day. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? He wanted to meet up too. And of course, I was still in Michigan at the time. So I'm like, you know, my mom be tripping. She don't like me. She don't let me date boys. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you was 18.
I'd be 18 in a minute. He didn't know that. I'd be 18 in a minute, you know, and then I can do whatever I want to do, blah, 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 blah. So the gag was I was turning 18, even though I was really already 18. I was turning 18 and then I could meet him, right?
All right.
By the time I turned 18 in the online world, I would have been in Georgia.
I'm stressed. I'm stressed.
So I got down there, and so we talked for maybe, let's say, a month or so. I moved down there, and he was like on it, like, oh, it's your birthday, you know what I'm saying? We when we hooking up, you know what I'm saying? You can get out, blah, 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 blah.
So is he in Georgia by this time?
No, he's never lived in Georgia.
Is he close?
He lived in Alabama.
How close is that?
It was like 2 hours where he was.
Oh, he liked you.
Yeah, like once he was my boyfriend. I was about to say the N-word.
Who are you on Easter?
I got really into the story.
I see.
Once he was my boyfriend.
You was a Georgia girl for like 5 seconds again. All right.
Once he was my boyfriend, he was back and forth. He was making that trip all the time. We have to tell that story another day because that's a whole nother episode.
All right.
But
stay swinging.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, 2 weeks maybe I was down there and we actually met up.
Okay.
And he
had you moved yet, or you were just visiting?
No, I had moved.
Okay.
So we set up the profile after we went to Georgia. So we visited Georgia, came back home, set up the profile.
So like, yeah, we moving out here.
Yes, we need to meet people. We can't just be out there trying to, you know.
For sure.
But at the time, these youngsters that are probably listening, I don't know if they don't know anything about Black Planet. But Black Planet was Facebook, it was Twitter.
It was that before anything else existed.
It was right after MySpace. But
no, it was before Black Planet was before MySpace.
Was it?
Absolutely.
Dang, we old.
Absolutely.
I'm
Black
just
Planet.
say it again.
They really got to give Black Planet some credit. They were like trailblazers.
It was before MySpace?
It was before MySpace.
We're going to fact check that afterwards.
Fact check it. Watch what I say.
But anyway, so yeah, I don't know what I was saying. We came back, we made the profile, and then like a month later, she actually moved before I did.
Okay.
And then I moved down there. So as soon as I was there and like could say that I had an address and like, you know, I was established in Georgia, we were setting up things to meet.
Okay.
So this is how naive we were. Like, we don't know this. He brought a friend. We don't know them, only from what we saw on the internet. Gave them the home address, met them at our apartment that we were living in with somebody else. Like my mom's friend let us move in with her and bought him and his friend there. She was like, the lady that we were staying was like, them niggas not coming in my house. Like, no, y'all don't know them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why you would even think of doing this.
Yeah.
By this time, I'm fully in love, right? Over the internet.
Just young and
I'm fully in love. So he comes in this, he used to call his car the bucket. And it was the raggediest.
It was, in fact, the bucket.
It was the raggediest car I have ever seen. But again, I'm in love.
And he is too, because he's driving 2 hours back and forth in the bucket.
In a Caprice Classic.
Oh, woo! Come on, brother.
And that was my catfish story. I mean, we saw each other, and eventually we had a baby together.
So, you know how we always kind of laugh at old people because they get taken advantage of. No. I'm not trying to crack a joke. No, but like, you know how like people really prey on senior citizens on the internet because they just don't understand kind of the dangers. Like, click this link.
Yeah.
They told me if I don't
put my social security in.
You know what I mean? But in a lot of ways, with our age range, we were young, but it was so new. We didn't really like know or aware of the dangers. We never, catfishing wasn't a thing then. There was no verbiage for people lying.
What that was,
was unheard of. When that documentary came out, I was like, what? People are doing this?
In Michigan.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was really eye-opening in that same regard. You know what I mean? Here we are. We're used to building genuine human connection.
Absolutely.
When we called somebody on the phone, we had to speak to their parents first.
Yes.
Hi, is Shonda home? Hey, can I please speak with Brandy? Like, that was a thing.
Absolutely.
So now you take that mindset and you put it in this new world where anyone can access other human beings instantaneously across the World Wide Web, we unaware of them dangers.
Yeah.
So for you, it's like, no, I like him.
I love him.
I love him. Girl, you know what I'm saying? And another thing, though, I ain't going to give y'all no slack. Y'all are visionaries. You guys are geniuses. You guys were doing something. Yes, no. Look, there's whole apps built around what y'all did.
What do you mean?
Mike's going to college, right?
Yes.
There's a whole app that's developed for him to meet people before he gets there. He's already going to have friendships, conversations that have started before he touched foot on the ground. That wasn't a thing back then, but y'all created. We moving to Georgia? Huh. Let me, who can I meet in Georgia? Georgia girls, whoop. Now, y'all had to front a little bit, but I mean, very forward thinking, if I do say so myself. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to the Georgia girls. What up, Mish?
Before the applause come out, and then, you know what I'm saying, it was a little anonymity about who my friend was, and you just shouted her out. She gonna be like, dang.
Nah, you won't hear it. What up? You ain't gonna put yourself out there and leave the other Georgia girl.
Wait till we have the live recap, and we got to hear her version of how that story worked. So first of all, the story did not work out for either one of us. Okay.
Nah. Well, I mean, what's done in the now? Here's my other question. At some point, did y'all both come clean? Like, yeah, I'm not from Georgia. I'm really from Michigan. Like, did you ever say, hey, when I made this profile?
Okay. Absolutely.
How quickly?
Well, so
because he had to say, I
be
live in
feeling
Alabama.
like, when I get on this podcast, I be way too open. So it's parts of this story that I feel like, do we want to tell this?
All I'm asking, wait. I'm trying to figure out how much of this can be for you. All I'm asking you is if at some point you told him that you weren't from there.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. You just did have to put whatever you was about to say.
I was gonna give a little context to when it happened.
That was we had just got. Hold on, wait, no, no one asked y'all that.
I was gonna give a little context to what happened, but in the grand scheme of things, like when I look at the situation in totality, so like he had a situation. A legal situation before I ever knew him, right? But when we were talking, I didn't know any of this. Right. So by the time I've carried on a relationship, got pregnant, I'm 3 months pregnant now, and then I hear about this case that he's dealing with. Yeah. So it's not a secret. I've talked about this before, that the first 10 years of my son's life, he was in prison, but he was in prison for something that he did before I even met him, or he was accused of doing, allegedly did before. Before I even met him. But those are just details when you're young and impressionable, and I was in a new place. I was exposed to new things that I just didn't care to ask. I didn't know to ask. Because like you said, all of my relationships prior to that have been people that I've known for years, right? We live in the same town. We've grown up around each other. Most of them were my friends before we ever decided to go into a relationship with one another. Yeah. So this was the first time that I'm really dealing with the situation of, I don't really know you. I have to get to know you, all while battling feelings that I have for you and trying to be in a relationship with you. So the relationship kind of went at light speed, like my relationships back home. I did. You my boyfriend? Okay, we in love.
That's a lot.
And was that not how high school relationships was? Like, we go together. Like, me and you were in a whole marriage in high school. Like, we dated for 4 years. That's long term.
What we had was serious. Hence, like, we got receipts for what we had.
So there was a type of relationship.
Don't be comparing this to nothing else.
Whatever.
Okay,
there was
this
a
right
type
here
of
was
relationships
different.
that I was.
So you was out here doing that with everybody? Look at you, don't watch yourself into a little corner.
It's not exactly what I said, but. A lot.
Let me see your vocal acrobatics up out of here. Anyway, and moving forward. So, like, we've really had to learn, at least my generation. I hate that. It feels cringy.
We're gonna say like 34 and up.
I'd say 30 and up.
Really?
I say 30 and up.
Well, my brother's 29.
He didn't always have the internet.
That's true.
They didn't always have the internet.
It's true.
When he got, even, and you gotta think about it.
Not the internet that we have now.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, even though it was around, it didn't become as accessible and as used as it is. As we utilize it now until Absolutely. Like, I want to say maybe like college. You know what I mean? Like, because the cell phones we were using, I ain't really get on the internet there.
Yeah.
The games didn't need it. There was a little snake. You know what I'm saying? Like
Minesweeper.
Our games didn't require none of that. We was just texting and calling. That's it. You know what I'm saying? If you had a Nextel, you was just being rude and inconsiderate in the movie theater. Where you at? Okay. All right. Fam, can you cut off your walkie-talkie?
If I could just go back.
Look.
The good old days.
Look here. But we've really had to learn how to navigate this. You know what I mean? Like, we're the only generation that knows what it was before.
Absolutely.
And has a good handle of what it is now.
Absolutely.
And for me, when I did my brief stint of trying to play the field, I did not know how to develop relationships like that. It's just so disconnected with kind of how I build connection with people. So every relationship I've ever had has started with me knowing them, seeing them in person, and then maybe we might utilize social media to communicate. But I've already met you. You've already experienced my personality. I've seen yours. There's never, like, that's why I couldn't do the
dating apps like Tinder.
Yeah. Oh my God. I tried. I tried.
You did?
Oh yeah. I had a homie who was killing it. Every day he had a new story. Oh my God. He go on vacation. Bro, I turned on Tinder in Vegas, or dog, I turned on Tinder in California.
Why do I feel like from the voice I know who the friend is?
How about you not put my homies on blast?
No, you put mine on blast. I feel like
maybe we'll get him to come talk.
What up? Ain't that what you did for my friend?
It's not him. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways. Anyways. But it was like, you know, I was like, oh, it's that easy? You just cut it on and take your pick?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and it is, you know, kind of, you know what I mean? But to me, even if I didn't match with somebody and now we have this opportunity to have dialogue, what are we talking about? Hey, what do you do for a living? No, I do this. You know, it's like, you want to meet up? Not really. Who are you? I feel awkward talking to you online. You think I want to sit at a bar with you? I'm good.
So I had the kind of same experience. I did not try online dating at all. Like, I didn't download an app.
Yeah.
Nothing. But I had a coworker who, again, was killing it. Like, she like, no, I go on dates almost every weekend, and you should. And she knew I had just got divorced, so she was like really pushing, like, you should try it. Like,
get out there.
Just get out there. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be serious with anybody, but it's good to get on dates. You know, get your feet wet. You said that you had never really dated before you got married. You know, you were just in relationships with people. She was like, so it's a new experience, right? But in the back of my mind, I had the real GA girls playing on like a loop reel, right? Like, okay, you was in a relationship with a whole criminal. Like,
okay, all right.
So if you found one weirdo, the chances are you're probably gonna find another. And I was so scared. But I've seen now, like, we have mutual friends who have a long successful relationship from meeting on like an online dating app. They got kids. You know, we see them all the time.
Yeah, and I wanted to make sure we mention that we're not condemning that means of building relationships.
Absolutely not.
Because I know people, there's people in my family who are in healthy, happy relationships with somebody they swiped left on. Yeah. And it just worked out, you know what I mean? So there's trash people everywhere, on Tinder sector. And at the library, at church. Like, it's trash human beings everywhere. So you just got to sift them out as you go.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't know. I just never could bring myself to do that after me being. So you never told me, is that a catfish or not?
I would say no.
Oh, cool.
I think you're just a liar.
Oh, shoot.
I don't think it categorizes as a catfish because it really was you. You really moved there and you had intentions of meeting them, talking to them, and you ended up telling them the truth about where you were born at. But yeah, but you weren't being honest. So it definitely was lying. You did extensive studies to keep up with your elaborate lie. So you definitely was lying, but you weren't catfishing.
I was skewing the truth a little bit.
No. If you researched the state of Georgia, high schools, streets that you lived on, so that if you get asked, then nah.
All right, whatever.
Yeah.
Tomato.
Tell the truth, shame the devil. You know what I'm
saying? Tomato.
So yeah, that I don't know if that qualifies for catfishing, but you know, if we're being honest, people been getting catfished differently.
Which way?
All throughout history. Well, if you just talk about hiding behind a persona that is not real, that's always been a thing. it's gotten more sophisticated through social media because now with this persona that I create, I can put a face to it.
I be whoever you want to be on the internet.
Be whoever I want to be. But I mean, if we being honest with you, there's been plenty of people who lie. I don't got no kids. We just did
well, not just, but last season.
You know what I mean? It's a whole story about someone who did an elaborate, masking of important details about your life that you just happen to leave out until feelings develop. And
how do those things happen now in this day of we have a wealth of information at our fingertips? How now do you get in a full relationship? Because like I don't understand how the show Catfish has gone on for so long. Like nowadays you have all this technology to find out if you're talking to a real person. Like how do you get in a whole marriage without finding out that this person's been married before? Like, are we just not asking the right questions? Are we so in love with the idea of being in love that we don't care about that stuff until it becomes consequential to now the relationship that I'm in? I just don't I'm still having a hard time understanding how you can be in a whole marriage and a whole relationship now, today, and not know what you need to know about that person.
Yeah. I think as long as we as people desire to be with a person more than we desire to be with the right person for us, there will always be people who praise on that. I don't care how much information is available. As long as people desire interaction more than you like finding the right person, it's always going to be like that. And I don't want to go back to this conversation.
Please don't, Dan, because I already know what conversation you're talking about. And
but it just I'm not going back to it, but it's my posture behind why I was so rah-rah about it, because I think it just touches on that. Like people got to be so careful about who you give your time to, right? Because we're built for connection, and someone can present to you such a beautiful idea that even if there might be some inconsistencies, even if you don't know, the truth is, if they lie good enough and they haven't give you a reason yet to not trust them, like it'd be great if everyone had this like beautiful spirit of discernment that just sifted out, bad people. But the truth is there's some people who are just really great liars. They'll present to you such a great idea. They'll treat you so good. They'll make you feel special. They'll make you feel things that nobody else made you feel. And the truth is, they themselves are broken. They're manipulative. They're hurtful. They're deceitful. They're betraying you while making you feel like no one else has made you feel. That's just the truth of the matter is. And there's no way really to defend against that other than being extremely careful and selective about who you allow yourself to give access to.
This is not intentional at all, but I think people don't trust the process. And I'm saying it's not intentional because I swear it was not intentional. I swear it was not intentional.
I'm lying.
I'm about to pass swear.
I'm about to pass out.
What's wrong? What's happening?
I laughed too hard. My wheeze. I let out too much oxygen.
Oh my God, we have to like take a commercial break?
Nah,
are you okay?
No. First of all, let's get some background as to why we're laughing. So
if you can't see our shirts.
I preached in Detroit, and the theme of this service was trust the process. Brandy has set out this hoodie. I didn't see her set it out. I went through like 4 different shirts to wear. All of them were like, I don't know, just didn't work out. So I ended up grabbing this. And then when I grabbed my Trust the Process, she was like, well, that settles it. I'm wearing my Trust the Process hoodie. So it was a laugh we had before we got on the air about how she jocking my style, my Trust the Process.
First of all, in your story, you said Brandy set out her hoodie first.
And then in my mind, I'm thinking that when she got this hoodie, she said, I'm going to find a way to work this into the show.
I swear.
I'm just playing with you. I know you did it.
I swear.
But I'm sorry. I'm stepping on your point.
But it's true
yes.
Because
I am so sorry. Go ahead.
Really do. We were just talking about this, right? How we felt like the process that we went through, first being married to other people, the things that we went through in the process of divorce and the experiences that we had kind of set us up for this. But I think there are people who may find themselves maybe being single for a long time, or just out of a marriage or a relationship or a situation, and like you said, they just want a person, not the right person, and they're not trusting the process enough to understand that the things that we're going through are developing in us characteristics, love languages, mechanisms that make us right for that right person once we find them. But because we don't want to go through the process, we just want a person. We fall into situations like this where person has a whole secret life, and now we're devastated that we were lied to or we were deceived when the information probably was available to us. But because we're just so in love with the things that are happening in the moment, we don't look or dive into or ask the right questions because we're feeling all the feels. Yeah. We have, I hate this. We have someone that we watch on social media who always talks about being in a relationship. That's what they want. They crave it. I can't wait till I get in a relationship. One day my husband is going to, I need a man who does this. And I saw today that person posted like a silhouette of a man and said, something about finding the right person. And I couldn't help but think in my head, like, have you actually found the right person, or have you just been so in love with the idea of finding the right person that somebody came along and you just made them the right person? Yeah. I think that happens way too often, and it happened to me. And I don't know if it was necessarily a catfish situation, because I did meet the person and I met them. But before this, I told you there was only one other person that I actually interacted with. And in this case, somebody slid into my DMs and was saying all of the right things. Wasn't anything that I had imagined for my life. Like, he was white. He was younger than me. There were just things that I was like, why would this person be attracted to me? And then he mentioned things like God, purpose. It was divine that we made this connection. All those trigger words in my head, because I'm getting my spirit right and I'm going on my spiritual journey and trying to get closer to God. They were buzzwords for me. But then I think about it on the after fact, like all somebody had to do was go down my timeline and you could see all the things that I really care about and then just come back and regurgitate that to me, because we put so much out there on social media about our lives that I can't even tell who's genuine and who's not.
Oh, for sure.
It's really scary. And that's what I worried about for my son. Hold on. Is this you're about to go out in the world and this is all you know. Yeah. You don't know the deceptive side of it.
Well, I would argue that because they're more versed in it, they're more aware of the dangers. Like for us, we know nothing about it. It was new to us. So we just out here But they've had whole TV shows about this.
That's true.
They've had, you know what I mean? For us, it was new. For them, this is their whole life.
But I think it scares me that it's so normal that's just how we meet people. This is how we interact with people, that they don't have the red flags up for the weirdos that are out there.
Yeah, I think I would say that they're more equipped than we were. I think they have more verbiage, more language, more documentation of these things. There was no language around this thing.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? True. There's whole language. Catfish is in the dictionary, not just as the actual creature. You know what I mean? Go to Urban Dictionary, it means something completely different. Yeah. So, ultimately, off the internet, on the internet, you have to exercise discipline and restraint, in any area. If not, you're susceptible to get taken advantage of, right? Like we said, if you just desire someone versus your someone, you're going to end up being susceptible to being taken advantage of, to being hurt. You know what I mean? And the truth is, it's such a fine line, because there are people who you can be in a relationship with and they're not a bad person.
Yeah.
They could make you laugh. You have a good time with them. There were relationships I had weren't bad people. It wasn't contentious. It just, where God's taking me, the more I get aligned with where I am in life, where God's taking me,
you're just not the right
I
person
see that this isn't what's for me. This doesn't align with where God's taking me. So You know what I mean? I clearly got a bust to move. So you just got to be able to exercise that discipline. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's hard when you crave that to look for those red flags, but the scripture just continues to pop into my head that above all else, guard your heart. And I think that's one thing that we lose when we want to be so in love, or somebody is saying all the right things and selling you a dream, is that we stop guarding our heart and just looking at what it feels like. But man, it's so important, because I've had basically 2 situations stemming from something on the internet go bad on me. And I think for me, it has given me the posture that I'm just not with that. I don't recommend that. Not saying that it can't ever happen, but I guess just based on my experience, I would say I'm not willing to risk it. But if you are, above all else, guard your heart. Go into it with extreme caution and just be aware that not everybody has your best interests at heart.
So in terms of like navigating social media, we've kind of talked about how it impacts single people in the season of singleness. Now, I feel like there's room here for us to kind of talk about how explore, like, how does it impact you when you're in a relationship? You know what I mean? We kind of talked, we touched on this. I don't know if it was the first season or the second season.
Yeah.
But we kind of talked about this, but it was more along the lines of like, okay, when we're going through things, I don't want to put it on it. Like, don't
keep
let
it
me,
off the internet.
Don't let me get on Facebook and see you. So let me, the subliminal posts and all that.
Yeah.
So, but I think there's room for us to kind of talk about, like, because it's just different now. There are like things we got to talk about now that never were a factor before.
Absolutely. Like, you and I, more you than me, but we have a whole persona life on social media, right?
Yeah.
You are Mr. Look, let me tell you something. And you have, I don't know, 100,000 followers or more. And so you are active and very engaging on social media. I run our What They Never Told Us comment section, social media profiles. And so I am very up to date and aware and always on social media. And it can be a very, 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 very dangerous place for people who are in relationships, especially when you're running like a personal profile like you, because even if people know that you're married, some of them don't care. And it's a huge trust factor. Like, I'm not going to lie and say that sometimes I don't be like, oh, I'll be under your comments like, okay, what'd she say? Oh, she putting heart eyes. All right, boo, I see you.
Okay.
I've definitely responded to some things like, he married. Yes, he got a wife.
I missed that.
You did not miss it because we had a whole conversation about it. It was early on in the look. Let me tell you something.
Okay.
But I think a girl she said something like, "Oh, are you married or you in a relationship?" And I'm like, he got a wife. Thanks.
So this is interesting because I know we've had conversations, but it was more so pertaining to, well, at least the way it came out to me, that it was more so pertaining to like just guarding my spirit, guarding who I give access to. Like,
absolutely.
It was more so about like people soliciting advice,
yes.
People wanting to talk about the personal situation, and it seemed more like concern for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the first I'm hearing about it being more so like, hey, watch it.
I don't think so being honest, I don't think I have to have that conversation with you, which is
for
why
sure.
we never have.
Yeah.
It's more, but I can't control what other people put out there, right?
Yeah.
So I just have to make sure that they understand.
Yeah.
That like, he's a married man. Don't be leaving her eyes under my man and talking about you love him and all that stuff. That's she don't play that over here.
Yeah, there's definitely room here for us to kind of like, because I think it's important in any regard to have the conversation like, okay, how do we handle this space, right? So when someone communicates with you, is it okay to have conversations via DM? Is it okay to have, you know what I mean? Like those are conversations that I think are just important to have in a relationship, because it could be an area that you've never discussed, but when it comes up, it's a problem. And it's like, yo,
Absolutely.
nothing even happened. Like, look, we're not even talking about nothing. It's like, but you shouldn't be talking to somebody
Absolutely.
privately. You know what I'm saying? Which is why it's good to just have those conversations.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm cool with you having appropriate conversations in the DM. Now, what's appropriate, right? Like if somebody messaged you and was just like, oh, I love that message, keep it up, or this message really touched me and this is what I'm going through, I think that's appropriate. I talk to you about guarding just how much access people have to you, because if you respond to one, then the expectation is that do you respond to 1,000? And if you respond one to say, yeah, okay, I understand, and this is a scripture that will help you or something, then they come back. Do you continue to respond? So I think that you're a grown man. And I think this was for anybody in a relationship. You're an adult and you choose to be in a relationship. You should talk to your partner about what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. We've had enough conversations that I believe that we're on the same page about what's inappropriate dialogue between you and another woman.
Yeah.
I don't ever want you sharing our personal business
or confiding
with somebody like, oh yeah, my wife did this and this is what it made me feel like. No.
Yeah.
But I do understand that because of the online persona that you have, that it's going to garner a certain level of attention from women. Like you come off very wise, very put together, and that
I don't like how you still come off like I ain't wise in real
that ain't
life.
the truth.
See how she do me. It be the people close. It be your own people.
It ain't the truth, but it's very endearing, right? You're fine, and
oh, come on. I'm sorry, I gotta like that. Continue, please.
And you talk real good, right? So it can be intriguing to a lot of women. Like, he's saying all the right things. He's a man of God. Like, let me see what's up. And sometimes they can be seeing what's up by sharing or confiding in you. And I think that that's what we had to have the conversation about, because I think you're Mr. Friendly and you like to help everybody. So like for us in our relationship, I would say the dialogue on social media is not offensive to me. It's not a line that's crossed initially. Right. But it can be a very slippery slope if you're continuing to have those conversations and it goes past just the surface level conversations. Like you don't need to be making any friends on social media. If somebody needs some help, needs some guidance, cool. But past that, I don't know why you would need a friend in another female on social media. And that's when I would start to have an issue with that.
Yeah. So this is a great conversation to have. So for me, I've been blessed that with this platform, most of the stuff that I get where it comes to like deep people telling me the issues comes through the What They Never Told Us platform, because we've built this up
absolutely
on our own. And I think it's been a blessing. And it's always, and I hope no one's reading into this wrong way. Like we've approached this thing with an idea of community. That's our heart's posture. And unless we feel a strong unction, like, this isn't something that we can really help with, or is something that we don't really feel like, we don't feel pulled to do that. For the most part, we always respond. There's been a lot of you guys who listen to us who has hit us up, and we're like, hey, look, praying for you. Have you thought about this? Or have you thought about seeking this type of help or whatever? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So this is a good conversation to have. So don't be deterred about that. But in terms of my platform, most of the interaction I have happens under the post. It's rare that it ends up in my personal messages. Now, this is where we got to be careful, right? So, like, when you post your story on Instagram, right? Mm-hmm. When someone comments on the story, it goes to your direct messages. Mm-hmm. Now, there are people who I've had friendships with for years. Janae, Johnny's, those are people who I frequently comment on. Mm-hmm. So that it's like she was saying with Kirk Franklin. I was like, oh my, okay, you a superstar, stuff like that. And I feel comfortable with those because there's been a rapport, a friendship that's been established. Now, this is where it's new for me, and it's something that I have to either get comfortable with or not get comfortable with. And I'm glad we had this conversation. Shout out Aaron from Raising Boys to Men. Once again, dope platform, That's our brother. He's practically a cousin of the show. So our brother over in the UK, he's really shown me and kind of like groomed me on how to effectively network.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's so good at it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He encourages the business. He helps share his platform. He encourages us to share our platform. But he also is very personable. It's like, hey man, hope y'all doing good. Man, we miss y'all. Love the podcast. Hey man, he shares jokes, stuff like that, and he's masterful at it, right? There's another dope person I met. Now, this is more different because she's a female.
Yes.
But she's the same way. She's the same way. I love the fact, now this is what makes me come about it. She's introduced her husband. She talks about him all the time. Everything is about the business. Everything is, hey, saw the episode, love this, or hey, check out this promo I'm about to release. What do you think? It's always networking. And she even expressed like, hey, me and my husband are very intentional that we don't just call on people when we need something from them, but we encourage as well. So it's made me more comfortable. But in my personal space of where I'm at in life, I'm trying to find out how to do that because I'm always hypersensitive. Like, I don't want anybody to look at me and think that I have ulterior motive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you just never know because people is nasty.
Yeah. So, truth moment.
Yes.
Full transparency.
Well, hold on. Don't be too transparent because you got people that listen. If it's about people I mentioned, then that.
No.
Okay.
I don't think there were any ill intentions, but that was something that I had to get used to. Right. I think that one of the things that we have to get over or work through is like the level of detail that we share, right? Mm-hmm. Because the first time that I heard about this person was she want to fly me out and be on the show, and I'm like, who is insert name and why is this person wanting to fly you out to be on the show? How does she know you? How do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So people who pull on you and demand and want your time and are interacting with you to network from a business standpoint, it's very different from somebody who just wants to be around you, who just wants to be next to you because of who you are or because of the social media persona that you have. So that's a pivot that I had to make in my mind because it's never been a dynamic in any other relationship. If a girl's talking to you, she want to get with you, period. She don't want to network with you. She don't want to fly you out to be on the show. Like, she has an ulterior motive. She trying to sleep with my husband. And so, when it's personal towards you and they're having conversations with you, for me, it is like, I do have to run through my head like the what if scenarios, right? What if she don't mean that? How can I make sure that he has his guard on fully aware so I don't feel like the overbearing wife that's like, let me see the text messages, let me see the conversation. Because I'm not in the traditional sense, the jealous type. Like, I'm not trying to look through your phone. I don't care if you have female friends. Like, that stuff is not a big deal for me. But what I am hypersensitive and aware of is like the people who have ulterior motives. So I always have my antennas up looking for people who are trying to take advantage of you. So I think in this scenario, I'm like, okay, why? Why is she interacting with you? Why is she being so nice to you? Why does she want to fly you out? Why does she want to do all these things? Because it's abnormal to me. And it's just a new dynamic in our relationship. Sure. But I think for somebody who is inherently jealous or has that as a characteristic that they know they have, but you have somebody that you're in a relationship with that is very active on social media. They don't have to be popular or anything, but they just, they like social media. They use it a lot. Yeah. How do you navigate that in your relationship? Because is a heart too much? Should you only be liking girls' posts and not hearting it? Is leaving heart eyes too much or clapping emojis or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Because there are times where I comment on another man's post and I have to be aware of, okay, like who's going to see this and what are they going to think about it?
Yeah.
Because it's not just me now. It's us. And I know what my intentions are, but I don't want anybody to see Russell's wife commenting on another dude's post and think that there's something going on there. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So it's just something that I always keep in the back of my head, like the way I interact on social media with other people.
For sure.
I ain't DMing nobody. I just won't do it.
I think honestly though, you really got to rethink your position on how you engage with the opposite sex, especially with the more people get involved, right? Like the dope thing is our platform is together, right?
Yeah.
The more you step into your own personal things, it's insane to think that the only people that need to do business with you are going to do business with you with the same gender. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
There's going to be men who talk to you via email. And if we're being honest with you, social media is the new email. It is far more engaging. It's far more easier to access people via social media than it is to do it on email. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's important, number one, to have openness, communication, which is, I think, has been our saving grace, and trust. Heavy on the trust, because if you don't have that, you're always going to be, what's going on? You know what I mean?
Well, I think too, that's the hard part when you're getting to know somebody, or maybe you're new in a relationship. Okay, we've been talking for a minute and now we decide we gonna do this thing, but how he or she interacts on social media, you don't really you have to now factor that into your relationship, right?
Yeah.
Are you asking them to change the way that they've interacted on social media before, now that they're in a relationship with you?
That's the data that you need to collect before you get into a full-blown relationship.
Yeah.
You know, because if you know you're highly sensitive and you're threatened by a man liking other girls' pictures, and you see that during the courtship, he's actively liking other girls' pictures, she's on the beach in a bikini and he liked that photo and that makes you feel away, you got to verbalize that. Because if he ain't got no intentions to stop and you're never going to be okay with that, then that's something that y'all need to address.
Is that unreasonable?
Well, it depends on the photo. Like, let's be clear.
Okay.
Like, if it is a girl at her aunt's wedding and she does like this and you like it, if it's someone you have a relationship with that is cordial, platonic, like, I wouldn't have no issue with that. There are plenty of men who I know, they're not a brother to you, they're not bro, but they're just people we know.
Yeah.
That if you like their picture and it was something tasteful, I wouldn't have no issue with it.
So
if it's the same brother, nah, no,
I can't like the selfie.
Nah, you can't like no selfies. It depends on the selfie. If he just got out the gym and his shirt's off and he like this, oh, yo, you tweaking. We gonna have, what's this?
What?
So
I mean, not a gym selfie, like shirt off gym selfie. That's a much, but like such and such updated his profile pic, and that's now goes on your feed on Facebook.
Well, it's the reason why you just were talking to him. Like, yeah, I don't know if I would like, because I don't want nobody. It's the same thing. Like, there are people we know who have gym businesses who I support heavily, but I can't like that video because you're doing squats, and I don't want nobody to be like, yo, you nasty. And here's another thing. When I look at the other people that liked it, I'm like, oh, okay, I see this.
So
crowd.
you judging already?
Yeah, I'm already like, oh, no, I know these dudes. These dudes is nasty. So if I put my name next to his, they going, okay, nope, I'm good. I can't like this.
But
photo.
I know you see it. So what's wrong with you like liking it?
I just feel like we got to be responsible with what we put our name on. You know what I mean? And I think social media is just one of those things. Like, when you put your name on something, you attach whatever perception people want. And you can't control people's perception. So I'm not saying it rules your life.
Absolutely.
But it's just something to think about, right?
Absolutely.
Now, that same girl, if she's just first day of school, I'm with my kiddos, and she takes a first day at work selfie. If you saw me like that, I don't think you would feel no ways about that.
I wouldn't feel no ways if you like if it's if it's a butt shot, like just,
That's what it be.
We know them ones.
That's what it be, the yoga ones. Like, let's go. Okay, like, I can't like this photo.
We know them ones.
Everybody
You're just
here
looking for somebody to like your booty. But if it's an actual like gym, like,
for sure, bear crawls,
yeah, or like my kid's aunt, she posts gym stuff all the time. Like, I wouldn't feel a way if you liked that post.
And see, I don't even do that because I don't know not her specifically, because I know her husband, that's my dog. I know there'll be nothing like that. But if I don't got a rapport, I mean, because you just never know. You know what I mean? Like, I know there was a girl who I messed around with in high school, senior year. The husband found out in adulthood. I was almost 30 at the time. I get a DM. You told such about us in high school, and now I had an argument. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. Like, you shouldn't. I'm like, yo, that was high school. Now, so I guess she was with him. She cheated on him with me.
Oh, yeah, that's messy, bro.
But it's high school, bro. Like, I'm grown. You know what I mean? Like, we're grown.
Oh, that's messy, bro. I definitely had to have a conversation when you decided to mention my name randomly in a rap. Like, I was married at the time. I had to have a conversation.
Hey, I was spitting though.
I had to have a conversation. Like, why this talking about you in this rap on Facebook? I'm like, I don't even have Facebook.
First of all, in the song, I said that I used to feel on your booty in high school.
No, you said in the lunch line, which was in high school.
Okay, so number one, whose girlfriend were you in high school?
But you didn't feel on my booty.
But hold on though.
I was your girlfriend.
So if I'm talking about what I used to do in high school, he wasn't even nowhere close to being your boyfriend in high school. He jealous about that?
Listen, it's a line, right?
That's what we talking about. See,
it was a line that was crossed.
That's that unnecessary jealousy.
It was a line that was crossed, and I had to have a conversation. Like,
I crossed the line.
You don't mention nobody else's wife in a rap, bro.
I said, yo, in high school, I used to yada yada.
I used to feel on Brittany booty in the lunch line. No. Brittany is somebody's wife now. You can't say that.
Fade with a punchline. I used to feel on Brittany Baines in the lunch line.
What? Like,
I'm the one you want in the game when it's crunch time. I was going crazy.
I'm getting. I got pulled into the room. Like, what is it?
If the bars was weak, he wouldn't even been mad. It was prophetic.
Okay.
Here I am in the studio.
Do not bring Jesus into the.
Now you my whole wife. He really mad. Now I get it. Let me stop. Okay. But edit this part out.
Nope, it's about to be a fight.
Look, okay. I'm sorry.
Now you got to fight.
My bad, brother. I'm sorry. My bad. No smoke.
Anyway, yeah, social media is a beast, and it causes problems in relationships. Hence, if it ain't your girl, don't mention her. Period. If it ain't your girl, unless you want to smoke.
Heavy on the I didn't do nothing wrong.
You did something wrong.
It was high school.
So if somebody now, if my ex now writes a rap about what he used to do.
If your ex started a podcast.
Not that ex. I'm talking about just like an ex that.
If any ex, what's his name?
We don't know his name.
The one from the fireworks.
They don't exist.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about.
Say for some reason he had a podcast and he's telling stories of a relationship that happened. Man, she, you know what I'm saying? Man, back when she, like, it's in the past.
You're not gonna feel no way. If he'd be like, she used to. You ain't gonna feel no way.
Hold on, wait. Is he talking about you disrespectfully?
I mean, I did it.
That don't mean he got it. I mean, I wouldn't want nobody to share that. What? I wouldn't want my brother to do it about my sister.
Well, he's saying feeling on me, that's the same thing.
Yeah, if he said, I used to feel on Brandy when we was at the fireworks. Oh, man, bro, you said you feeling on my... She was my girlfriend at the time. What you want me to say? I'm not going to feel no ways. It depends on how it's presented. If it's presented like showing you in a negative light, of course I'm not going to like that because, you know, I'm finna defend your honor.
Oh, okay.
But
every night I got to fight to prove my love.
But if it's just him talking about something that happened and it's in a tasteful way, it's not hypersexualized. I ain't tripping about that. If he said he used to feel on you while waiting for McDonald's, I am not tripping about that. I am not that guy. What evidence do you have to show that I'm him?
I believe you.
Name one time I reckon you.
I believe you.
No, you don't. Your whole face say something different.
I believe you.
I'm not like that.
Anyway, you all can weigh in on Wednesday when we go about whether that's disrespectful or not. Would you appreciate that? Come to the live and let us know what you think.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a good conversation because it's a whole new area that we need to get on the same page with. We just add to this is stuff that we got to talk about in a relationship now.
Absolutely.
This wasn't something our parents or grandparents had to deal with. You know what I mean?
We didn't even have this conversation, and all the many conversations that we had when we were courting or whatever you want to call that, we didn't have the social media conversation. And at the time, you were heavy in social media, and I was like, post a prayer, post a scripture.
Yeah, but it was just people that were in my circle. You know what I mean? Like, I was heavy into it, but I was only engaged with people that I knew in real life.
Yeah.
So it's just, Yeah. You got to have a conversation, especially depends on how you're utilizing it. But if you don't have trust, everything's going to feel like deception anyway. You know what I mean?
True.
And then anything that you do, any move forward is just going to be made difficult. That's why that's one of the things I'm really thankful for about you. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way I can go out in the world and do the stuff that I love to do if you're not secure or if you don't understand who I am and trust me. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, me being in the studio for days at a time, work with female artists like that, that'd be like, excuse me, I called you. Yo, I'm in the middle of a session.
I'm coming too.
Look, no, but it's so important to be open, honest, and it's important to have the difficult conversations, and more importantly, heavy on the trust. Yeah,
there's no way to get around it. Like, if first of all, God needs to be the foundation of your relationship, but a heavy second is trust. Like, I think if you don't trust somebody, that's a red flag right there. You should probably not be in a relationship with somebody that you don't trust.
Okay.
And if you're working on, like, if you're somebody like me who I don't start off, my trust meter is not at 100. You got to earn my trust, but we have to get to a certain level before I even agree to go to the next step in a relationship with you. Like, nah, if my trust ain't at least here, like, I will leave my kid with you. I'm not about to be in a relationship with you, like, because they a part of me, so they gotta come. It's the same with if I don't trust that I can leave you alone or expect you to have reasonable, appropriate conversations with other females. I don't need to be in a relationship with you, because in this world, you're going to have to interact with the opposite sex. And if I can't trust that you're having appropriate interactions, I don't need to be in a relationship with you, because I don't need that type of stress in my life. I don't want to be peeking over your shoulder and tracking your location when you ain't at home and running through the list of who your coworkers is and all that. I don't got time for that.
I feel like these are all things you would do.
I have did in the past, and I don't got time for it no more.
You had those ready. Like, I don't want to do
I done lived that life.
Very specific.
I done lived that life. It's very stressful.
Very specific.
Don't give you time to focus on your work and your kids because you're too busy worried about your man. I don't want to live that life.
Yeah, nah. No one should.
I need you to go out in the world and do what you need to do for this family and be appropriate. And it don't have to even be a thought in the back of my mind of, is he doing the right thing?
Absolutely. It has to be like that. If you're exerting yourself, first of all, this is a good conversation. It's probably a whole episode, so we don't got to go into it. But
you about to go into it anyway.
No, I'm just going to present it, give us something to ponder on, and come back to the table with. But let's say the person isn't doing anything wrong, right? Let's just say they're not cheating on you, worst case scenario. And I won't say, maybe they're not being 100% perfect, but they haven't done the worst case scenario. They haven't cheated on you. They're not having an emotional affair. There's just areas that they can tighten up. If you don't have any peace around it, it's already a problem.
Absolutely.
Most of us think the only problem is if you catch them doing something wrong. But just the feeling,
the thought that they're doing,
thought they're doing me wrong, or just the feeling that you can't have peace because you're worried about it, it's already a problem. The moment the feeling is there, it's a problem that needs to be discussed. And not in an accusatory fashion, or you're doing this to me. It's just like, no, hey, look, here's how I'm feeling. I'm not accusing you of anything. But I think the fact that I feel like this is cause for concern.
Or I think it's just that I don't feel comfortable with X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you're in a relationship with the right person for you, they're going to respect your feelings.
Yeah.
And if something you have this feeling that something is off or something is inappropriate, or, the interaction just don't sit right with you, you should be able to voice that. And we've had this conversation before, and you reaffirm me in a way that I understand, okay, it's me, right? I'm looking at this from a lens of what I've been through, and I'm projecting that on you. Or it's really something there. You are a little, not you personally, but you are a little too friendly, and I don't like it. I think you need to dial back on the conversations and how you interact with females. I think that in a loving relationship, that's an appropriate conversation to have that doesn't feel accusatory, and y'all have to find a way to meet in the middle with that. But somebody that's unwilling to compromise in how they interact with other people versus how you feel, I think that's a red flag too. Like if you're unwilling to stop doing something that clearly makes me uncomfortable, why is that? Why is that a hill you're willing to die on?
That part. Once again, this is a whole episode. A whole episode to be continued. To be continued. But once again, just get on record so we don't forget. It's when there are valid things that you have, it's an interaction you see that makes you uncomfortable. Or maybe there's no interaction. You just don't feel right. I just, that intuition thing that, I know a lot of dudes just like, man, I don't know, something up, man. I just feel like, or she's like, I don't know. It's just something. That alone means we need to have conversation.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because they might be completely innocent and maybe there's something internally you're wrestling with. Or you ain't crazy. And they really doing something. And either way, it needs to be a conversation. So we'll touch on that a little bit more in the future. Y'all got a little bit extra time today. Y'all got a little extra, a little extra 15 spot.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah.
Anyways, meet us tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube, where we break down the episode. Come with your catfishing stories. I want people who have legitimately catfished people to come in and tell us the story.
You asking a lot.
Or been catfished.
You asking a lot.
I need to know. I am not the only person out here lying on the internet, okay?
You asking a lot.
Anyways, come show your support for the show. Join us, Kick It with the Fam. We will be there, Facebook and YouTube tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Absolutely. If you made it to the end of this episode, that means you really gang for real. So you got to stick around for these quick shameless plugs. What They Never Told Us store is absolutely 100% still open. If you don't have no What They Never Told Us merch, what is you doing?
And this is the last month. This is the last month. The store is only $1. Going into May, the price is going up.
It might be gone. Is shipping still free?
Shipping is still free.
Shipping is still free until the end of the month. So please, coffee mug, hoodie, any way that you can support the show, we appreciate that as always. Gig, my song, still available on all platforms. Stream it, put it on your playlist, all that good stuff. Am I forgetting anything?
I don't think so. If you want to support the show, you can always come show love on Facebook. We do get paid through Facebook. Shout out to Meta. Or you can send a few dollars via Cash App. It's $ What They Never Told Us. You can also subscribe to our show on Buzzsprout. So the link should be in the description of the podcast that you're listening to on whatever platform. It's a link that says support the show. It's $3 a month. All of the proceeds go to putting on this wonderful broadcast that you see right now.
I love it. Is our playlist still in the description?
I think so.
Music lovers, we got a dope collection of music artists that are friends of the show, some of which we've never met, but we love their music. Put together a dope playlist. If you have ever attended our lives, a lot of the songs that you might hear on the playlist are songs that we play frequently. And it's just a dope date night, dope clean the house playlist, late night drive on the way home. So music lovers, tap in with us. It is only an Apple Music playlist, so you'll only find it there. Spotify might be coming soon, might not, but either way, love y'all.
Anyways, always remember we love love.
And y'all should love love too.
Peace.
Peace.